Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with Pena from Movacy, a leading software provider in and around the last mile space. And Christy, I wanted to start with a funny story. A couple of days ago, I was talking to a lady online, and after about 3 minutes, literally 3 minutes, I realized I was talking to a machine, not a person. Have you ever had something like that happen to you?
Had that actually 6 or 4 months ago on a retailer website. I was sure I was talking to a real person. He were giving me so much details about what I wanted. Had to be a person.
And you know what? I only realized when I did something totally out of the box. And it was after the 3 minutes, I did something that I don't think anyone could expect. It wasn't rude, by the way, everyone. But it was very good system because what happened is she said, "Look, I'm going to transfer you to a human who can deal with this matter." It was really perfectly done. But the reason I wanted to talk about that, Christy, we we in our industry talk about AI and where it's used. I have a feeling that we've only reached the tip of the iceberg. And I thought it would be great to discuss where we think it's being used already and where it could be used. So, if I can kick off and maybe you can comment. For me, obviously, customer service, we talked about that, where you have human like bots who do actually an amazing job. That's already being used. And of course, not everyone loves it. But if it's done really well, like it was in my case, you get moved to a human whenever there is a need. Then you've got this whole area of predictions, predictive maintenance, predicting what you need, predicting models for maybe a network to make it work. Um, and then, there's probably 101 other things, but those are the two that spring to mind. And the third one is training and development. Do you think I've missed anything important? And maybe you'd like to add something to the ones I mentioned?
So at heart, we are a software development company. So right now we are interactive in a lot of businesses, in a lot of industries. And I've seen some real use cases that could also apply to logistics, like, for instance, ticketing distribution, which was done by, let's say, human agents right now that were classifying tickets, requests from customers and they were dispatching them to users. This can be totally done right now with agents and can be done in the logistics segments as well.
Christy, just for the benefit of our viewers, because you're an IT guy, so you understand exactly how this works. I'll maybe try to explain and you tell me if I got it right. So ticketing basically is a tool used to make sure that when you have change requests or any other request from the user, it's allocated to the right person with the right priority.
Exactly. Or to the right business unit, because an AI might detect who that should be sent to, because it has information to specific. If you take a parcel, it has information about the parcel tracking, and it can know who should this guy directly talk to solve this problem in the best way. Maybe to this depot, maybe to this courier, maybe to this customer agent. So depending on the situation, that can also be optimized and be done. And right now, this is for some companies I know, this is a lot of people doing this job at this moment.
And on top of that, Christy, correct me if I'm wrong, but my feeling is that AI can be really good when you have capacity issues. So there are times where during the day or maybe during the year where demand is much higher, whether it's a customer service request, whether it is a change request within a system, et cetera, et cetera. And it's precisely at this time where I guess a system like this could be very helpful because you don't need more humans. You have basically a machine that is, as it were, covering the issue.
This is the whole concept behind the AI, that you can scale your operations, scale everything. Right now, I think we are, as you said, just scratching the tip. Um, we see a lot of maybe practical applications that we cannot apply yet. So, for instance, I will tell you a real story. We did a POC, a proof of concept, to detect whether a parcel has been damaged or not. The The project was a success in terms of detection. So the detection rate was very good. The cost of AI for doing that detection was actually much higher than the two people inside the depot responsible for doing this. So we see this challenge of cost versus opportunity, and we did not find a solution for this at the moment in this industry. And I think this is a challenge right now. There are some technologies out there that work, but they are very expensive.
But I think, as with all of these things, over time, yeah, their inevitably cost dramatically falls.
Yeah.
But something that I think is already being used, and I have to admit, Christy, I find fascinating, are things like predictive maintenance. And again, I'm not the expert, but based on my knowledge, what basically it does is it takes events that will suggest there's a malfunction. So perhaps power usage at a different level than normal, or time for something to happen. And it puts that together and it predicts that, for example, this parcel locker will fail within the next whatever. Um,
Mhm.
and is that pretty much how it works, or have I missed something?
Yes, based on a number of parameters, it can predict that a problem might occur, and it can go the extra mile and also let you know as an end user, hey, a problem might occur here. Maybe you'll go the next day to pick up your parcel, and that's very valuable. That's where the value comes in, because if you only know it's broken, it doesn't help that much. Um,
So basically,
Also,
Christy, you've got two aspects. One aspect is for the operator that you can predict in advance to avoid a failure at all. But
yeah,
if you get to the point where you know that failure cannot be avoided, you can at least inform customers in a way that doesn't destroy their customer experience.
exactly, yes.
Are there any other areas that, from your sort of experience, that you think, wow, AI either is already becoming big or will be soon?
There is a debate right now, that's going on, especially in our geography in the European Union, about what kind of data you can train your models with. And I think this is still in the air. And when it will be settled, and when it will be clear how we can process some customer data in this industry that do not belong to us in the first place, it belongs to the retailer or to the sending customer, then we can predict something like locker capacity in the future. So, what would this locker or this Pudo or whatever, what would be its capacity 3 days from now? You can do that with technology existing today, but there is a debate on how much data do I store about you, Marek, so I will know more about your habits, so I will know if you have an order, when are you the most likely to pick it up from a locker, let's say. And this is totally be doable. And I think once the legal perspective will be sorted out, this will be a very good use case in this industry. Yeah, and then that leads to everything operational, because if you know this planning, then also you will change your routes for couriers. You will change the way the couriers go to the lockers and everything.
When I start thinking about it, Christy, pretty much it can change everything because look, if the system understands my habits, it could theoretically seek to do not only something that is convenient for me, but to work in a way that gives the maximum chance that I will pick up my parcel quickly and efficiently, which in turn leads to better utilization of the machine. So, if you think about it, if it understands me, what motivates me, is it some kind of promotion? Is there something else? This is wow. But taking it further, I guess the AI could also help train, develop, maybe even hire couriers because most networks I know of have rotation of 40% plus of couriers.
Mhm.
Imagine if we could have a system that helps us understand, what makes the guy or girl who wants to be a courier, because it's a tough job. So, if you could even reduce from 40% to 20% the rotation, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, and I think it's totally doable with the right training data. And think about it. There are cases very simple to, if you have the data for them to predict, like Marek, let's say, works remotely 3 days of the week and works at office 2 days of the week, and that changes what you do throughout the day. And those events can be detected with the right access to the data, and it will influence your behavior as a consumer in this industry.
I have to say, as usual, we're running out of time, and I get the feeling, as you said earlier, we've just scratched the tip of the iceberg on it. But I think this is a topic that will be worth coming back to. I think it will be fascinating, maybe, Christy, to talk a bit more of some of the concrete examples, because you shared one before, but maybe we could get approval from a client and we can then really talk about in practice how this works. Is there any final thought that you'd like to share with people on this topic before we close up?
Well, we didn't talk about robotics in any way. My personal view on this is that robotics will change this industry in the next years. I'm reluctant to say 2 or 3 or 5, but I'm sure that will happen. And those will be AI driven as well.
Well, I think, Christy, you've actually suggested a topic that probably we're going to have on the cards in one of our future discussions, because I agree, robotics are amazing. I won't even start the discussion now because we'd run totally over time. But Christy, as usual, really great talking. Thanks very much, and looking forward to our next chat.